can't write the same story over and over again. I need something new to write on. So I'm always writing new ideas, new concepts, even though I've got friggin', like 10, like 400, 600 pages of an entire series done. I still go and write a new story because now I've got a new idea in my head and I got to finish that. One of them was like this week, I decided I'm going to finish the story, which is like half done. And I hadn't written it in about like a year or so. And then I did research. I started researching Italy, and then, Googled mythological characters, and I had this idea in my head when I was writing it. I need dungeons, I need like cells, I need bars, I need that. So I started searching. And then when I was searching like dungeons and stuff, and this, City de Borgranigrio came up, right? It's like in Italy, it's a perfect thing. It was like everything I had imagined in my head as I had written in the script to describe this place. And I was like, oh my goodness, this is exactly what I need, right? So I was like, I don't have to go search for this thing. I mean, like, I don't have to find it. I mean, I can describe what I need to, but I don't have to, draw up or mock up something, because I can just go, here's a photo of this place. There's the angle here, there's the angle here, and that will be good for me as well. Like if I've got this is the room here, and I go, this is the room. So I'll show you these photos of what I'm talking about, right? So let me just bring this up here because there's other stuff I want to share with you guys today, the actual art. But before we go to that, we'll get to this one, because I really want to get this started this year, because it's, I want to get the first issue done this year, because let me see, character references, Conclave, that's the one. Building. Right, there we go, the Conclave building. So this is, it was just crazy, because this is exactly what I imagined in my head for this. Like, 90%, like you can never imagine something 100%, right? And that's it. But, this is, I think it's city. It's city. Let me just get the what is it actually called? It's called the hilltop town of Sativa. Why did I go city? It's Sativa. I spelled it wrong. So this is actually in Italy, and the whole thing here is right. So when I wrote the story, I wrote the script as like as being this building on a hill, and it looks down. There's a town on the bottom. There's a reason why, because it's about the people up here and it's the people up there, and it's all this other stuff. And the weird thing was, like, the last place I ended writing the script, I think it was like page. Let me actually bring it up. I should have it here. Flashback. There we go. So Rocky Mountain Range in Italy, right? Right, as you can see. So that's what I had in my head. Rocky Mountain Range in Italy, and this is a extreme wide shot, so you get the whole picture. So you go in Italy, near the top of the rocky plateau, carved on the top of the limestone mountain, is a mansion. Think old 1500 style of castles with flat walls. See reference images. At that time, I hadn't searched any reference images. I would have gone and put it in, but just in my mind, I have to get, which reminds me that whenever I put that in there, it's a reminder to me and to the artist that there's images there. And if I haven't got the images, I'll make sure that I look back and go get the images, because the artist will go, where's the images? I go, oh, crap. Okay, go find the images, right? Folder full of images. Down in the valley is a small town with similar style of houses, littered loosely around 100 homes. There are dots of people moving about. Farmers with cattle and sheep are moving about the mountain ranges near the town. All right, so here you go. So 1793, Italy, right? So then describes what it is, and so on and so on. And then later on, I talk about this horse carriage going up this path, this dirt path, and you can see, like, there's a road going up to the city, right, or this town, whatever, and you got the flat walls. It's all up here, and I was quite amazed that when I Googled other stuff, this came up, because I was looking for cages, right? Because back in those days, because of what I'm not going to give away the spoilers for the story, But back in those days, you had like cages where people put, where you got put into like this, and all you could do was stand up. So I was looking for those, and I was like looking for prison cells, and I was looking at like all different types of stuff like that in a dungeon, because I'm talking about like how people are kept in these dungeons. But also, people are moving through that building, and as you can see, there's an arch, right? Because when I was doing my what was it, craft and art design, craft and art design, way back in 94, 95, 96, as an art student, right, here in Whangarei, which is now called North Tech. It used to be called Polytech, Northern Polytech. And so I used to do like ceramic sculptures. I still do them. I might as well show you what I do now, which I haven't finished because I've been concentrating on doing comics. So you know that when I say I'm doing, I do ceramic sculptures, this is what I currently do, and I haven't finished the amount I need to do. But I'm giving myself at least another 5 years, within which time I'll get myself set up as a what could I say, like let me get rid of that. So doing ceramics. So I'm doing like, this is my new sort of thing. This is like one of the most simple ones I've done, but right. So I used to, this is hollow as. So back then I used to like concentrate on doing buildings, like like walled, like little sculptures like this, and I would show, I would hand build them, like flatten them, build them up, little little thin walls, and put arches and stuff. So I was kind of referring back to my head in those times, because if you go and look in like say like North India, like real Gujarat, I think it's Gujarat, way North India, you have buildings carved into the walls. Like these are century old buildings, right? So I'm a real, I'm kind of like passionate about buildings and structure and stuff. And like when I build, like, when I have like, I'll show you some images later about the comics that issue 2 of Robot Nation and how that looks. Like the first page, right? How that looks when I'm building a mothership, and I'm not doing it myself. I'm building it in my head, and then I'm getting reference and photos, images. I'm just putting in a folder and putting in a Dropbox and going, linking it to Francisco Conti, who's one of our most amazing artists, right? We have many of artists, but he's one that like is working on the Sci-Fi series, right? So. But the weird thing about Robot Nation is each book has 2 stories, right? And so they're standalone stories. However, in issue 2, we're going to go for like 20 pages in one, and then another 20 pages in another, so it crosses over. But we'll still give you a complete first, extra story. So when he designs off them, he's reading the script, but I'm also giving him references, because, dude, I'm not like, when I was younger, I could like before I had my hand injury, right? If I had my hand injury, I could draw you shaded, friggin' amazing Wolverine, all that. Really, honestly, I could do all that. But when I had my injury in the first year of my art school, I just went, I couldn't use my hand for about 3 months. So I couldn't draw and stuff, and I just let that relapse, because my actual drawings and my colored pencil colored colors on those drawings was what got me into art school, right? It was like, oh, because I don't know, other people just came up with like whatever they had at high school. I'd been out of high school for like at that point for about 6-7 years, because I dropped out when I was 15, and here I was at 22 going back to art school. I'd worked for about 3 years at a time. And yeah, man. And so I'll put that up in a minute. Nugget, Newt or Nugget. I always get it wrong. You were supposed to tell me last time you were on how I would pronounce it. I forgot to ask you. That happens with me when I'm on other people's show as well. So I was, that's how I got in. Like all I was doing for about a year was like just drawing, getting my emotions out. I was going through a really bad period. Therapy was part of that year before, 93. Alcohol year for entire year was just like always like drunk or stoned entire year. So, however, still doing my chef's course. Um, but so the thing was that I could I brought these drawings, and there was like a sculpture teacher, and then there was a design school teacher. There was a uh, who else was there? There was a this craft photographer and all this. So, and he just said, "You're coming with me, right? You will be in my this period." I didn't even know I was going to do sculpture because I'd gone and do with drawings. And he said, "No, no, you come and hang. You'll be on my part." So that's how I learned to do jewelry design. I learned how to do glass blowing, like actual glass blowing, like blowing glasses. What you call it, and then also doing flat glasses, right? So you cut and layer and all that. Um, you know, Stuff you can drink out in vases, like really large. But also, most importantly, and I spent a lot of time. And also, by the way, I actually painted a huge slain, the horn god, as he was falling into the underworld, from Simon Beasley's work from the horn god series for 2000 AD, because I had the books, the actual table, the graphic novels, right? And so, but I was drawing all the, hand building all these structures, like small ones, big ones. I actually built a spaceship one time, came back and, put it in the kiln, came back the next day, someone had actually dropped it. And so out it went. It was like huge, like, let me see, probably about half a meter wide. Yeah, about that high, a spaceship. But inside the spaceship, we had all these little arches, these buildings and stuff. So when I see stuff like this, I'm like really excited by that. But I'm doing setting this the backstory of this comic book series in 1800s, and then coming in through the back, forward from to time for the second half of the book. So when I saw this, I was like, oh man, this is it. This is what I was thinking in my head. And you see this inside and stuff as well. There's a whole bunch of like structures, like layers, and let me just show you something else here. So stairways, all this other stuff that's part of this building. Inside that building, like I've never been to Italy, I didn't know this, So you see all the arches and stuff. Oh, this is what I was trying to say. So even in my head, like when I was writing it, because I'd written what I wanted, and then I went to search for reference photos so I could say, hey, Francis, I'm not Francisco, whoever comes on board to do that artwork. Hey, here's what I'm thinking, because you can't see inside my head, but here's the images. But now that I've found all these images, I'm like this. I'll just say, this is where they are, or this is where they go through, because I've got a part where they go through the hallway. So I can say they went through this archway. And even when I was writing, I said that they got an arch, they walk through the arch, and this nun lady comes and meets them, and so on. And this is how I build stories. This is how I build the universes, the characters. Like sometimes you get lucky, right? I don't always get lucky like this, but I got lucky with this. But this saves so much work for my artist to research. I can just go here. So it just blew my brain cells, man. Like I was just so excited. I was like, man, so I stopped writing and I just went and posted that this is what this great thing, and I shared it on Twitter as well, on our PLUNGEcast page. If you haven't followed us, jump over there. I think it's PLUNGEcast at PLUNGEcast NZ. There you get, if you miss the notification on YouTube, you'll get the notification there when I'll let you know it's 15 minutes ago, or before you go live, or 2 hours or whatever, or tomorrow, right?